Yes guys, Jess here, back with another video. You read the title. A lot of downside liquidity is actually getting squeezed, and this is the perfect time to be looking for that market explosion. I'm seeing Bitcoin and altcoins actually going bonkers right now and going absolutely parabolic. You can see we have so much liquidity to the upside in the short term, and if we actually zoom out to the 1 week time frame as well, you can also see the same thing. There is so much liquidity to the upside. The market has actually been dumping during this weekend over here, and you can see we have a CME gap at 102.6k. so we need to be going through all the different charts that I do have prepared for you guys, all the different scenarios. And yeah, with that being said, let's get straight away into the analysis. But before we get into the analysis, make sure to smash up that like button. Let's try and get above 30 likes this video. That'll be absolutely insane. And with that being said, let's get straight away into the banger. Bow. So yes guys, you can see that ever since Friday we've been getting all the downside liquidity getting grabbed, and there's a lot of liquidity actually piling up to the top side. So just looking at the charts right now, you can see we have a CME gap at 102.6k. so a reversal back towards this mean is definitely on the table. We can maybe see a slow climb during today, which is Sunday, and then in towards tomorrow, this vertical line here Monday, we should be able to see this close of the CME gap hopefully, which will be very bullish, as you don't want to be coming too far away from your CME gap, and you don't want to be pumping too far away from your CME gap, because it always leads to a reversion of the mean. So you want to be in and around that CME gap level. So if you can have a slow climb as shown by the lap lines here, then that'll be really bullish. So if you want to be adding this CME gap to your chart, this one is by CryptoC. So you just go on indicators and you look up CryptoC, you can see that the CME gap indicator will come up, and it's any of the two over here. You can see here guys that we actually came in towards this December's range that I was talking about yesterday, and I said we can actually see a reversion to the mid-range where we will see a double bottom potentially, and then on the confirmation of the break of the neckline, that is a perfect opportunity to be looking for Bitcoin to actually start trending a lot higher. This will be your low, this will be the macro higher lows we're looking at. Then you're looking for signs of strength above the December's range high, and then that's where we're going to go massively parabolic. You can see on the charts over there, we have so much liquidity to the top side, just above this range high. So of course, a push towards the upside where we start trending strongly is definitely on the table. This is looking like a double bottom if you actually zoom in. So that's definitely looking good. And if we actually draw a consolidation pattern, you can see that this can be our third touch point over here. And then you can look at this downsloping trend line here, and you can actually look at this bull flag, which is looking really good, because you can see you had a previous move to the upside, and then you're having a consolidation within this phase, and then you're more likely to have a break and retest to the upside, because all a bull flag is a continuation pattern off of a previous move, which is a bullish bias pattern that's looking really good. So you can see that if you have a pump and then you have a consolidation within the pattern, it is likely you're going to continue in the same direction. Although you can actually reverse to the downside if we're really bearish, it's more probable that we're actually going to have a move to the upside. So I'm staying bullish here, and I think it's likely that we can get that reversal. We're on the mid-range right here, and we're actually forming this consolidation pattern at the same time. We have a monthly open just above us as support once we do actually crack the trend. So that's actually going to be looking really good for a nice move to the upside. So you can see over here on this chart, we're having this resistance box that we started to actually reject off of, and we actually came all the way down in towards our previous month's mid-range and our previous week's low over here. So this is definitely a support region where you can see a wick that actually formed. However, you have your 9 and your 18 exponential moving averages starting to curl to the downside, and you have a presence of a bear moon, which I've been covering on the channel. So if we can't hold this level and you start to see too much time spent here, then of course you can look at a potential lower time frame bear flag where you had a previous move down, you consolidate for too long, and then you just continue it to the downside. So that's something to be watching for as well. And if we do actually lose this level, which is our 99k level, then you're looking for yearly open, which is around 93.5k level. And if you can't defend the yearly open, then I do think a deeper pullback again to actually shake out the weak hands in and around the 89k level, 90k region as well, is definitely warranted. You can see that we have the 21-week exponential moving average actually coiling to the upside. So by the time we get there, I do see us having a lot of strong support that will actually provide us a bounce at the range lows. I don't think we will lose it so easily. We might get a move down, then a short bounce, and then a continuation at least. So you have the time to decide whether the bounce was enough or if we're going to continue to see the downtrend. But of course, that's predicting too far into the future. It looks like we're getting some support here. So if we can actually have that consolidation pattern and we can start to see signs of strength, and you get a close above the upper side, so around the previous week's mid-range with volume support, it's more likely that we're going to get a move to the upside, in my opinion. And one reason that I think that we're going to get a move to the upside is you can see over here that the sell the news scenario I've been highlighting on the channel is exactly playing out. You can see that we had a dumping towards the inauguration. So this was a window the week before the inauguration, and then the inauguration day we had a sell-off in towards the inauguration. So I do think that it's likely that this can be a region where we're actually going to see a low form, and then we're going to get continuation, and all the buyers that were looking for price to come to the range lows and the CME gap too as well are going to be left behind, as they're going to be forced to chase price just like we had in the ETF range over there. So if we go back to the ETF range, you can see that price had a sell-off once the ETF went live, then we had a massive pump, and it's the same thing. It's the psychology of markets, and I'm seeing the same thing play out right now. So on the higher time frames, you can look at something like this, where you have the buy the rumor, buy the news. This is definitely something I am actually looking at, and you can see over here we have this ascending triangle actually starting to form. So we need to be looking at any pullbacks. If we do actually come even lower, you have the 95.3k level to be watching, as that will actually provide support for Bitcoin, and then maybe we can actually start consolidating in this pattern before we get a move up. Now for that longer term, you can see that a lot of people are looking at this fractal and thinking we're having a cycle top, but in my opinion, I don't think that this is actually likely. If you come in towards a trend line like this that has been in play for well over 7 years, then of course you're going to get some resistance and you're going to find it hard to actually break above it. But again, the environment suggests that this is not a cycle top. Now, why I say this is because we had the Federal Reserve meeting this week, and you can see that the Fed actually mentioned in a Federal Reserve press release that actually they're actually looking to reduce their treasury security holdings to actually meet their 2% inflation target. So of course, yes, we can actually see a slight move down, but of course in the higher time frames, it's likely that we're going to have a move to the upside because a rate cut is on the table this year. And if we get a rate cut, this is going to add liquidity towards the market. And we know that liquidity actually trumps everything. So if liquidity actually comes in towards the market, I do see a massive pump for Bitcoin. I do see a massive pump for the stock market too. And we're going to go massively parabolic. So this is not the time to be getting bearish just off of one trend line. Perhaps we never even break this trend line to the upside, and we actually just see a slow grind in towards the higher regions of 112 and then another consolidation before 120, and then we maybe see a cycle top. But we can still maintain below the trend line and not actually break above it and still grind to the upside. So just hitting this trend line isn't as significant. It's a level to be watching for resistance, but I do think that we can still see that move to the upside. So a better pattern to be looking at is this bullish megaphone. You can see how exactly we're actually playing out this pattern, and this is looking really good. I do think that something like this is more likely due to the Federal Reserve actually looking to cut interest rates to meet the 2% target. So in my opinion, this is more significant to be looking at as opposed to that trend line. So if you're enjoying the analysis and you want to be trading yourself, make sure to be clicking that first link down below. If you click that first link down below, it will take you to this page over here, which is the page for Blofin. Blofin are offering my community a massive $100,000 of deposit bonuses. So make sure to be taking advantage of this massive opportunity. Blofin are one of the best exchanges. In fact, Blofin are the only exchange that have fire blocks, which means that your funds are more secure and they have a third-party custodian to ensure that. So I definitely recommend Blofin. On top of that, they have extremely low maker fees, which means it's very cheap to be trading and not be paying a lot of fees over time, which can add up. So I definitely recommend Blofin. That's the first link down below in the description. Make sure to be checking them out. And for any reason, if you don't want to be using Blofin, then we have KCEX and MEXC down here, but you have a lot of bonuses up for grabs over here as well. So make sure to be checking these links down below if you want to be trading for yourself. Now, if you're not too sure about technical analysis, you're quite new to trading, or you want to improve your technical analysis, make sure to be clicking this link down below, which is the fourth link in the description, and this will take you to this page over here, which is the page for 𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗦𝗦. 𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗦𝗦 is my trading community with another analyst called Bill, so definitely be following him on Twitter as well. He's very good trader, and so am I. We have a lot of short-term entries that I don't cover on the channel for a lot of altcoins, so we're actually killing it in this server. So if you want to be joining this community, then make sure to be following 𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗦𝗦, and you could be checking out all the students that we do follow and messaging them to get their opinion on how they're finding it. So here are some of the testimonials from the students over here from our Discord. You can see this is all the things that we do include on the Discord on the left hand side, and then you could pause the video and read some of these testimonials and definitely message some of the students, as this is one of the best communities you can be enjoyed in. to be learning how to trade, as you can see by the education and bootcamp, and also to be taking some entries that me and Spill are actually alerting. I do recommend that you join a community for this alt season, as of course, the more people that you're conversating with, the more opportunities you'll be actually seeing. So make sure to be checking out 𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗦𝗦 if you want to be joining the community. That's the 4th link down below over there. This is the account, and we'll get back to you and see if you're fit for the group, as we do like to keep it exclusive. So yeah, make sure to be checking out 𝗚𝗥𝗔𝗦𝗦. So you can see the path to alt season here. We're actually approaching phase 2. We're seeing Donald Trump buy a lot of Ethereum, so that's looking really good. And in the higher time frames, you can look at this fractal where 2025, so the post-halving years, typically is when you're going to see the massive alt season. And speaking of altcoins, we have to talk about Ethereum. Ethereum is one of the best altcoins to be looking at, as it's one of the biggest in terms of market cap. And you can see over here that we have a nice falling wedge on the daily time frame, a previous move up and a slight move down, creating lower lows and lower highs. However, this is a consolidation pattern where you do get that reversal as well. It's a bullish bias pattern, so this is looking really good for Ethereum. And you can see over here that we have a symmetrical triangle, so you can actually look at taking a long position here, as you have some levels of support and you have lower highs over here to be looking at. So if we can actually move in towards this level and you're more conservative and you make the first higher high, then you can look for the retest before actually taking your long position. But Ethereum is looking really good, and this is a decent area to be looking for an Ethereum bounce, in my opinion. So if we actually look at this inverse head and shoulders that's potentially playing out, we're actually at the mid-range here. We have a ton of support, and we have this inverse head and shoulders actually playing out. So hopefully we can actually get a move in towards a neckline at $4,000 US. If you can get that with volume, then you're looking at this target in and around the 6.7k mark over there. And you can see if that happens, then we're going to be holding this trend to the upside, and the trend is a friend to the end of the trend. So I will not be fading the trend, and I'll still be remaining with a bullish bias on Ethereum. So that's looking really good. And if we look at this pattern here, we're actually holding the symmetrical triangle. We're on support as well. So of course, this is looking like exhaustion. You can see how it's postured as well. You're getting lots of wicks, and it's slanted. It's a falling wedge, and it's starting to look quite rounded, kind of like a cup and handle if you like to look at it that way. But of course, you can look previously at the left shoulder there. We had the same thing happening. So it's looking like this is very, very possible where we have the same scenario in May. We have a falling wedge and a massive explosion to the upside for Ethereum. So that's looking really, really good. And of course, on a higher time frames, we have this nice massive cup and handle for Ethereum. So once we do break this neckline at 4k, the targets to the upside are massive. So I would not be fading Ethereum right now. And if Ethereum goes parabolic, you can see, you could look at this fractal where the Bitcoin dominance may actually cause that to happen, where the market share from Bitcoin comes down, money flows out of Bitcoin in towards Ethereum, like we talked about in the path to alt season over there. And then that will cause a massive downtrend, just like we had in 2021 on the left hand side. 2025 is a fractal on the right hand side that's looking probable to play out, and this will cause this falling wedge to play out and come down, and ETH BTC will likely to reverse in that scenario. So of course, this is looking really good for altcoins. So you want to be keeping your eyes peeled and be making sure that you actually subscribe to the channel, as I'm going to be covering a lot of altcoins. Of course, I just need to wait for a few more confirmations before I know that it's the right time to be talking about the altcoins. So comment down below your favorite altcoins. But yeah, that'll be it from me. Make sure to be following me on Twitter to stay up with consistent updates over here. You can see that I post some of the charts that I actually include on the channel ahead of time on my Twitter. So make sure to be following me to be getting those updates consistently with post notifications on. But yeah, that'll be it from me. Have a blessed rest of your day. Peace, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.